The Palm Beach Civic Association brings you Palm Beach TV, the island's only newscast. We're sponsored by the Fortin Foundation of Florida. Our mission is to inform town residents about the unique challenges of island life and to highlight the actions and achievements of our leaders and the dynamic people who live here. Now the news.
Welcome to Palm Beach TV. I'm Wendy Rutledge. We are here at the beautiful Grassy Waters Preserve to give you a water quality update, which we're going to get to in just a moment. First, though, the results of the recent Florida primary election. Undoubtedly, you've heard that come November, incumbent Republican Governor Ron DeSantis will go up against former Florida Governor Charlie Crist, a Democrat, in the governor's race. Republican Senator Marco Rubio will face Democrat challenger Val Demings in November, Demings winning 85% of the primary votes for the Democrat candidate position for Senate. As for U.S. Congressional District 22, incumbent Democrat Lois Frankel will face either of these two Republican challengers. Right now, the race is too close to call. For Florida House of Representatives, look for Republican Mike Caruso to run against Democrat Sienna Osta. And for Port of Palm Beach Group 5 seat, Deandra Poole, a Democrat, will face Roderick Clark, a Republican, in the November 8th general election. By this time in late August, in past summers, we would have already reported a number of times on the presence of blue-green algae. Well, not so this summer. That blue-green algae has yet to rear its ugly head.
Just, the other day when there was no wind, that water looked like an aquarium. It was crystal clear. It was beautiful. We have no discharges, nothing coming out of Lake Okeechobee.
The Lake Worth waterkeeper musing about the unusual clarity of the Lake Worth Lagoon and the canals that feed into it due to the relatively dry summer we've been having, thanks in part to La Nina and Saharan dust, pushing the storm clouds away. Though toxic blue-green algae is minimal, freshwater flushing the canals and streams into Lake Worth Lagoon has been lacking, to the point where that delicate part salt, part freshwater balance of a healthy estuary has gone off kilter.
The salinity in the Lake Worth Lagoon has been slowly climbing. So right now, nearly all of our sample locations, except at the spillway, the salinity has been around 35 parts per thousand. It's basically ocean water, which isn't great for estuary long-term for things like seagrasses.
In fact, some of the newly planted seagrasses that were part of the Living Shoreline projects around the lagoon and were thriving in June are now struggling to survive in the imbalance of the water's current high salinity. Where we do currently and will always see the blue-green algae due to decades of legacy pollution is at Lake Okeechobee. The lack of rain has lowered the level of the lake to a point where outflows are so low they are channeling straight from the lake to Lake Mangonia, bypassing the natural filtration of Grassy Waters Preserve altogether.
We want it to go into Grassy Waters because all that plant life, all that healthy environment is what cleans that water before it goes into Lake Mangonia, which eventually leads into Clear Lake, which is where the town of West Palm's water plant is, which is of course the water source for Palm Beach and South Palm Beach.
It's around this time of year when local water systems, including West Palm Beach, counter the higher level of organisms in the water with a chlorine flush. For a couple of weeks, your tap water may have a slightly chlorinated smell, and for those on dialysis or have fish tanks, expert advice on use and consumption is recommended. Diaz says even if the water coming out of the treatment plant is purified and drinkable, it's important to do those periodic chlorine flushes for the sanitation of what are often aging distribution pipes.
That pipe is sitting in darkness and it's persistently wet. So it's kind of like it could be a haven for, things like mildew and algae and just organisms that you don't want in your drinking water. So that chlorine flush, they run it through so that those pipes after the water plant up to your house, they can have some semblance of cleanliness.
Now that the Lake Worth Waterkeeper is also a newly elected member of the Lake Worth Beach Commission, he's vocal on another water concern, the future water source for the island, a matter the Palm Beach Town Council and its advisors are investigating thoroughly. Diaz urges the town to look closely at the reverse osmosis plant in Lake Worth Beach as a potential water provider.
We have that reverse osmosis water. We can expand, and we just have to build a pipe across the lagoon, which is already being designed, really short connection. And plus, we're broke. We need the money.
So far, a fairly light hurricane season, much less toxic runoff into the waterways. But what about this year's hurricane season? It was predicted to be busier than normal, but so far, not much. So far, just 3 named storms have occurred since the 2022 hurricane season began on June 1, and none of those impacting South Florida. Though unusually quiet, forecasters at NOAA and Colorado State University both have reissued warnings of a hurricane season that will produce higher than normal activity. That said, it's been 54 days since the last named storm, which was Colin in early July. Still, the National Hurricane Center says we should prepare for an uptick in storm activity. Typically, the height of hurricane season peaks in mid-September, with activity kicking up in late August and rolling right through mid-October. And this reminder from forecasters that Cat 5 storm Hurricane Andrew back in 1992 blew through South Florida, leaving a path of destruction in its wake. Andrew happening in a very, very slow hurricane season with just 7 named storms that year. As the expression goes, it only takes one. That's it for our newscast. Thank you so much for watching, and of course we'll keep an eye out on those storms. And we'll see you next time right here on Palm Beach TV, a production of the Palm Beach Civic Association.
Palm Beach TV is a production of the Palm Beach Civic Association. We thank our sponsor, the Fortin Foundation of Florida, and encourage you, our viewers, to let us know how we can provide news coverage that best serves our members and residents.